1 2 1 2. On the flip sides because it's going to annoy.
Number 10, Maxim Jez. Number 16, Benjamin Berry. Number 18, Nick O'Brien. Number 22, Jacob Manity. Number 23, Jacob Cessna. Number 25, Ruben Awaratipi. And number 35, Ryan Nolan. Substitutes, number 9, Keanu Moore. Number 11, Danny Choi. Number 17, Martin Fernandez. Number 19, Sebastian Hayward. Number 20, Cooper Rogers. Number 24, Jackson Bandiera. I want to acknowledge and thank all of our sponsors here at Rockdale for the support of our club. Our major partner, MKD Transcorp, committed to reliability. Our gold partners, MCWA, Macedonian Cultural Welfare Association. PCFS, logistics for your freight forwarding needs. The Glad Group, Pino's Dolce Vita Fine Foods. Simico Partners Taxation and Advisory Services, MDL Customs and Compliance, Marco Polo Foods, fine foods from across the sea, and our silver sponsors, Borgia Australia, Your Consolidated Group, the City View Group, Tempe Tyres, Gadasha Scaffolding, B&B Bricklaying, Level 33, Swift Air, Vortex Group, Mar Consulting, Borga Cranes, HD Wills Hurstville, Niji Sushi Restaurants, Bella Transport, Rick Specialist Contracting, Sydney Civil, Superboom, Lang & Simmons St George, Liquor Stacks Reevesby, Broad Air, Joe's Poultry, Direct Inject, BA Architecture, Chemist Hub Rockdale, Zoomwave, SCIS Property Group, Zapier Produce Group, EMC Civil, Gerard Maloof and Partners, Sydney Wide Building Supplies, Rubrowski Catering Equipment, equipment for the Serious Chef, Atcall Cars, William Roberts Lawyers, and Tiny's Cocktails. We also want to thank our 2025 apparel partner Stano and our club suppliers AVA's Audio Visual, Son of a Baker Bakery, KST Buses, and Bisco Fine Foods.
Yeah, it should be a good one, I hope. That's it. Excited. A couple of boys I would have wished were playing, but anyway. Yeah, it's life. That's 30 weeks, mate.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NPL New South Wales Finals Kickoff on this Wednesday night, coming live from the Illinden Sports Centre, home of the 2024 Premiers, Rockdale. Tonight, fighting to keep their season alive against visiting Blacktown City. It's do or die, and there's more than a hint of last dance about Rockdale's finals campaign. Last year's premiership was historic, but after 2 losing grand finals in the past 5 seasons, this group would love to give themselves a shot at redemption on the final day at Jubilee Stadium. 2 games stand between them and that opportunity over the next 5 days. Blacktown travel here, trying to snuff their torch at the first hurdle. Knowing they'd qualified but couldn't finish in the top 2 for more than a month, their focus has been on this night and this occasion for what seems an eternity. Now it's time to deliver. Alex Molchanoff, delighted to be along with you for the start of the Championship Series on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Let's see how Paddy Nickas and Mark Crittenden set up their sides to do battle tonight. Rockdale retained just 2 players from the 2-2 draw with Sydney FC, their 6th consecutive draw in a row. Nick Soros starts in goal behind a back 4 of Hunter Elliott, Blake Rasciuto and Braden Sorge, the preferred central defensive pairing, with Giorgio Speranza at left back. A midfield 3 of Isaac Danzo, Lockie Constable and Brendan Chalakian, Ali Orglar and Moody Najjar flanking Alec Urasevsky. For Blacktown City, just the 6 changes for Mark Crittenden from their 1-0 win over the Wollongong Wolves on the weekend. Jacob Maniti keeps his place in a central midfield role. Behind him, Caden Henderson, who has played every match so far this season. Ben Berry, Lachlan Campbell and Grant Lynch, the back 3. Nick O'Brien and Jacob Kresnar, the wing backs. We've mentioned Maniti. He is at the base of the triangle behind Maxim Yej and Adam Berry. Ruben Oratife partners Riley Nolan, the 18-year-old, handed just his 2nd start in first grade in this biggest of occasions. He's already got 2 first-grade goals to his name, though. So is this last chance saloon for Rockdale Illinden? 3 games between them and their championship. They've been craving since 1984. Blacktown City's wait has not been that long. They come in underdogs tonight, with a fighter's spirit and one of the most experienced coaches, well, the most experienced coach at his current club in the competition. Rockdale have had the better of the clashes in knockout football between these 2 recently. Let's see if that record holds tonight or if Blacktown can spring the upset. Expect goals, 2 high-scoring teams, 2 defences that have had their troubles over the course of the season. Should lend to entertaining fare for you watching at home if you're a neutral. If you're a fan of one of the teams, just strap in for the roller coaster ride. It's going to be exciting. Tackles flying in at a place in one of Sunday's preliminary finals on the line. Doesn't get any better. Finals football. Something so unique to Australian football. Something we treasure. Something the clubs wanted to get back. Something Blacktown and Rockdale been ever present in over the past 10 seasons. And so Rockdale starting on the front foot. There's a healthy crowd in here at the Illinden Sports Centre. It's built nicely towards kick-off. The committee, you can see them in the background as the ball spills to that left-hand side. Giorgio Speranza getting forward from left fullback. Not a surprise that both coaches rested plenty over the weekend, knowing this game was on the horizon. Knowing there's such a short turnaround. Mark Crittenden without so many of his stars tonight through injury. Result of a long 30-game season. It's given opportunities to younger players. You feel the future is now, in terms of some of the players involved with Blacktown City tonight. Danny Choi on the bench, but no Travis Major, no Mitch Marlier. Jack O'Brien will be around the club for a little while longer, you think, but he is not available tonight either. His foot injury has kept him out for the best part of 2 months now. Hoping he'll be back in time for the start of the 2026 season. Caden Henderson has had a fine first season, taking the gloves off Tristan Prendergast, whose stint at Sydney United was short-lived. Some long-standing injury issues that have popped back up again. Henderson has not missed a start in league football. 20 years of age. He's taken that responsibility nicely. He's going to have to be on his game here. Lachlan Constable, who's had a fine end to the season, struggled to get into the first team at the start of it. And Alec Urasevsky is going through this rare dry spell in terms of scoring. Tife held up by Sorge and then clattered into by Hunter Elliott. Urasevsky with no goal in the last 8 rounds of football. His last came in Rockdale's visit to Landon Stadium back in round 22. Ended in a 3-1 victory for Rockdale Illinden. Uro scored a hat-trick. Ollie Pufflet came off the bench to add a late cherry on top. It's not to say Blacktown have great fears of coming to the Illinden Sports Centre though. They lost here this season. They won here a year ago. 3-2. As we mentioned, the 3 scorers that night, Malia, Major and Gibbs. The first 2 unavailable through injury. Gibbs now departed. They'll have to find a new superstar this evening. They've got defending to do first. Orglav trying to measure that cross towards his opposite winger in Najar. He's just flitted in and out of the first team over the last couple of weeks. Was left out of the starting side for the trip to Sydney Olympic a couple of weeks ago. Raised a few eyebrows. He's regained his spot tonight. His link up with Lockie Constable has won Rockdale an early corner. Illinden Sports Club is open alongside. It's filled nicely along with the grandstands. Everybody standing in anticipation for the first Rockdale raid on Blacktown's goal tonight. Chalakian chose to go short. Najar's cross only found Lockie Campbell at the near post. See the desire of young Riley Nolan to do a lot of gut running in the opening few minutes without a lot of return. Chalakian, always central to everything Rockdale do going forwards. Najar turns Kresnar one way then the other. Cross isn't bad either. Urasevsky chooses to knock it down for Dunzo! What a way to start for Rockdale! That's got the bench on their feet. It's got their supporters cheering. The protest from the Blacktown players waved away by the referee. It is a flying start to this elimination final. And Rockdale have been the comeback kings this season. They're not going to have to do that tonight. Stunning strike from Danzo. Unselfish setup from Urasevsky. A bit of magic from Najar down the right. It was Illinden at their best. Might be one of the goals of the season from a Rockdale Illinden perspective. I don't think they've scored many better than that over the course of 2025. It's Isaac Danzo's 2nd goal of the year. He's missed just 2 league games all season. The centrepiece to their premiership winning team last year at the heart of midfield. It's not one who scores too many. That was as good as you will see, as clean a strike, as clear a display of his technical quality. This player with Spanish background had trials over at teams like Levante in his junior years. There's still a thought among some that he could be an A-League player. Rockdale have been so happy to have him over the past few seasons. That strike would have been at home in La Liga. And it means Rockdale can play on the front foot. It means they're not going to have to break down a set side, which has been their biggest challenge at different times this season. Got the attacking quality to do it, but they prefer to play from in front. It's what they did so well last year in their premiership campaign. And funnily enough, they had real problems coming from behind the few times they did fall back there last year. They've flipped that narrative on its head. Hasn't always been the most efficient way to results. They come into this game without a win in their last 8. But by that point, they knew they were more than likely a finals team, although the Premiership sort of flitted out of their grasp in the closing couple of months. Committed challenge from Hunter Elliott, who wants to throw and gets it as well. Took out Najjar, but he didn't mind about that. What is Blacktown's response? A team with plenty of character themselves, but they folded a little meekly at different times over the second half of the season. Battling display on the opening day against Marconi. And Jacob Kresnar, funnily enough, on his Blacktown debut, got a 90th minute equaliser. I think Rockdale are going to let them just sit with possession and let them try to find their way back into this game over a long period. They're going to have to fight their way back. Blacktown were part of this fixture last year. They hosted it, though, at St George City. Had to come from behind twice in that game. Ended up winning it 4-2 in extra time. They'll be hoping history can find a way to repeat itself tonight. That night they went in as favourites. They're underdogs today. It's going to be a bigger battle back uphill. They don't want to cop a second. That will open up very unhappy memories of the preliminary final against Marconi last season. And they copped 6 goals. Don't want to do that again. Grant Lynch is determined not to let it happen. Fresh off another futsal ruse squad call-up. Like Rashuto, he preferred in defence to James Nikolovsky alongside his old mate Brendan Sorge. He's been in and around this club for the best part of a decade now. Rashuto spending a few years away in Southeast Asia. It's been such a popular return. He was a cult hero before his departure. Really has continued in that vein since his return. Older and wiser. Before his departure, he was twice Rockdale's Player of the Year in 2017 and 2018. It's been an award that's been the sole preserve of Alek Rasevsky over the past 3 or 4 seasons. One of the favourites to take out the gold medal. And he's on the end of the ball here again from his old mate Brendan Chalakian. Running away from Nick O'Brien, who's forced to try and keep him out. Looked to get a lot of the ball. Might have caught a bit of a Rasevsky as well. Certainly that's what Rockdale's skipper is suggesting. Blacktown just can't get out of their own half at the moment. That's not the way to play against Rockdale. Need to be asking questions of their defence, which is solidified, funnily enough, over the run in which they've not been able to find a win. Actually looked a bit more adept than they did at different stages earlier in the year. But it's been the goals that have gone missing. Thankfully, that's not been a problem in the opening stages tonight. Here is the goal scorer, Danzo. Elliott, they're playing with the pace and vigour of their Premiership campaign at the moment. What a bright start they've made. Najjar was got too late by Kresnar. Tries for a free kick. Moved away pretty swiftly. Moody Najjar is looking in a mood. I wonder if being left out of the starting side a couple of weeks ago has just got that fire in his belly again. He's running at the defence. He's giving Jacob Kresnar all sorts of problems in these early stages. Nice wing from Adam Perry. It's not what he's known for. Read that ball nicely in the air. Ali Orgler is chasing down a half-lost cause. Certainly put the pressure on Henderson. He's very smart with his head, both literally and figuratively, in that little scenario. Chalakian, most fouled player in the competition this season, and he gets another whistle. Just because he's so difficult to get the ball off. Saw Riley Nolan, chased him around for a little while and thought, well, this might be the only way to stop him. given Illinden a chance to deliver from a set piece early here. There's conversations about the spotting of the ball as well as Ruben Awara-Tife. Lots of shouts from everywhere, providing the soundtrack for us, Mark Crittenden, as Chalakian nods it on. He didn't want the ball for the reaction. Not the best delivery from Ali Ogla. He still found someone in black and red. A lot of passion around this ground tonight. You'd expect nothing less. Rockdale so keen for silverware. Spoke in the pre-game about the chase for a championship. And the sleeping giants of this competition for so many years. The Premiership last season was their first over a full home and away season, their second in 5 years after winning the COVID-affected Premiership of 2020. But this was a real one for the record books, one that will sit them as equals to all the other great clubs that have been able to take home that prize over their life. In fact, they were able to do it over 30 rounds as well. Ali Ogla trying to get them back into a championship playoff. Hurried and hassled by Campbell, turning away from him. Supremely talented. Discipline has been an issue at different times this season. Wasn't enough to win inside a throw. A couple of red cards this year. He's not the only one from Rockdale to have picked up 2 red cards over the course of the season. Young Hunter Elliott has managed that as well. Certainly didn't help their chase over the course of the year. That was a problem they didn't have last year. Rusevsky. Oh, Najjar! Brilliant reaction save from Henderson with his legs. And without him, Blacktown would have been 2 down. Rusevsky, so often the goal scorer, but equally at depth at playing provider. He's already got 1 assist this evening. Almost had a second. Ian Moody, Najjar's link up tonight has been superb early. Now Hunter Elliott's trying to get involved in an attacking area. Falls for Constable. Born as a central midfielder this season. He's been outstanding when he's been fit. Dunzo for Chalakian. Loves to operate in this sort of area. Belts it wide for Rusevsky. Into Campbell, but gets a second bite at the cherry. Gorgeous interplay between he and Speranza. It's good enough for another Rockdale corner, right in front of the committee. They've had plenty to sing about in the early stages. You heard that through our effects, Mike, that the call from Pani Nikas was goalkeeper. No surprises about where this one is heading from Brendan Chalakian then. Didn't beat the first man. It's a brave piece of defending from Campbell. Stuck his head where some others would be a little concerned to put their feet. Blacktown are going to have to find a way to turn the tide here. They've been pegged back in their own half for the majority of the game so far. I have to say, this is form we've not seen from Rockdale for some time. A stunning opening quarter of an hour. Awara-Tife might be the outlet for Blacktown City. His height and strength is his biggest asset. He's got a good nose for goal as well. Oh, had been a while between drinks before he scored on his return to the club earlier this season after a stint away with the Sutherland Sharks. That didn't go to plan. Welcome back to his junior club though. Campbell's just dribbling the ball along with him. The look from Logan Jones, who's our referee tonight, was what a bewilderment. Not worthy of booking just yet. Not this early in the game. mention the knockout record that Rockdale have against Blacktown City. It's a very good one. Last played in this fixture back in 2018. 2-0 win out at Landon Stadium. Gaitatsis with a brace that night. Again, that included Alec Urasevsky, Blake Rashuto, Braden Sorge, Grant Lynch and Danny Choi. Lynch now wearing the captain's armband and trying to get his team going forward, trying to give them some sort of attacking spark. I tell you what, it wasn't the worst ball from Kresnar. I was hoping someone had anticipated it was going to the back post. It wasn't the case. It's where Rockdale don't need to get themselves into trouble, playing out from the back. Where Blacktown can be effective when they get their press right, even with this much changed lineup. Rockdale have got it through it this time. It was sharp stuff, just falling down at the final moments, and Urasevsky holds a hand up of apology to Murray Najar. There's a smile from Rockdale's number 9. He's enjoying the start he's had to this game. Why not? Slated to sign for Rockdale for the Premiership campaign last season, was a late departure for an overseas opportunity. Over in the K3 in Korea with Hwasong. Actually promoted in his loan campaign there. Just a lull that's gone over the stadium, but Rockdale's players can't afford to take their eye off the ball here. The long throwing capability of Jacob Kresnar. Missed his target, and Nick Soros gets a first touch of the ball for the evening. Back in the starting side, picked up the most bizarre of injuries against Spirit a few weeks ago. Poor turnover from the players in front of him. Nolan, gorgeous touch from the 18-year-old. Nice bit of work to get around Elliott. How's the cross? It's not bad for Maxim Yesh. And Soros had to stay big. Berry! Strong hand from Nick Soros. Said Blacktown needed to find a way to turn the tide somewhat. They've done it through the long throw. Urasevsky, funnily enough, giving Rockdale a taste of their own medicine and going short from the corner. Lynch's header did well to steer it anywhere close to the target, given the attention he was under. Just wide. Rockdale's defence holds up for the first Blacktown raid of the match. It's another misplaced pass in their own half. Soros cool as a cucumber. Did well to pick out Speranza. Couldn't keep the ball in play. The friendly banter between the two clubs on social media today. Bobby Speranza, signing here a year ago. Battled through a couple of big knee injuries. The Blacktown physio, Alex Pucci, actually colleagues at the clinic they work together to run. Across the divide tonight. Maniti was a scorer last weekend. Most of the season out with injury. Mark Crittenden, glad that he's back at the perfect time. Fortunately, it hasn't been the case with a few others. Adam Berry. Started with brother Ben again today. They did in the 2022 Grand Final. Blacktown City won against Burnley United by 2-0. Lynch. Kresnar. First opportunity really to get it. Hunter Elliott did well enough to keep the ball in. Nolan. big boots he's got to fill tonight. The knowledge that Danny Choi is in reserve for Mark Crittenden should he be required. Campbell's header, away by Risciuto. Yeah, she's there. So Blacktown's best half chance of the game. There were appeals for a handball from the Blacktown players around that ball. That will have struck the arm of Blake Risciuto, but he wasn't looking at it. A very harsh penalty to give there for the referee. Which, with just a wherewithal to know that Najjar was there, and it's led to a chance for Riley Nolan to get down the flank. Sorge's challenge was clean, in the opinion of the referee. Welcome to finals football, youngster, says the experienced head. In his 11th campaign with Rockdale Illinden. Swiss Army knife along their back line. Expecting him to be starting at centre-back at the start of the season in their first game of the finals. His form has demanded it be the case. Here's Nick O'Brien, furthest back from the set piece, and the ball more in hope than anticipation. Easily fielded by Soros. So now Blacktown have got their foothold in a game. Are they able to exploit it? Are they able to think creatively about how to break down this Rockdale defence? A little undersized. Sure, that's in the thinking of Mark Crittenden, starting Ruben Awaratife up front. Towering figure. And Lynch is looking direct for him here. Sorge with a big hold of his shirt, as you could see there. He's dealt with him very nicely. Blacktown having their best spell in terms of holding possession. Asking a few different questions of the Rockdale Illinden backline. Ben Berry's long ball forwards. Awarative's made something of this. Sorge again sweeping in behind Risciuto. Hoisted away by Speranza. Good note of how Blacktown have set up tonight as well. It's the usual back three. Nick O'Brien being entrusted in the centre of it. It's actually Lockie Campbell who's playing as the right wing back more often than not. Lynch and O'Brien allowed to step into midfield when the opportunity presents. Kresnar's been a present threat down the left in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and he's won his side at corner. Maniti and Berry, the pair sitting in front of that back three, as we mentioned. And then it really is an attacking trident with Yaj, Nolan, and Awaratife taking up fairly high positions as soon as Blacktown win the ball back. So it's a thought they might be able to hit Rockdale in transition. Hasn't been the case just yet. Maniti stands in readiness. He's waiting for his players to get in position. They are now. It's a dangerous ball. Lynch got the header on it again. This time skimming off his forehead behind harmlessly. Rockdale have just lost the stranglehold they had in the early stages as we tick towards the half-hour mark. Isaac Danzo's early goal, still the one that separates us. Chalakian's nipped the ball off Nick O'Brien. He's got Rockdale going down the other way. Lynch, who lost the ball initially, firm and fair, and his challenge on Chalakian. Interesting. This is turning into the pattern of game we more often see between Rockdale and Marconi, where they're both trying to pick each other apart. From set pieces and restarts, even to the extent of throw-ins, but these teams have that as a weapon in their arsenal. The running power of Ali Orglar isn't a bad What a weapon for Rockdale, and Danzo's cross. Najar sniffing around Henderson again, not able to get his foot on the ball this time. It's been more precise. It's looked better planned from Rockdale when they are in their attacking half. Players are looking sharp and right at it. Maybe weekend off for a lot of them has just restored a bit of vigour into the legs. Najar has been right at the races with Illinden hand defensively there. Drop off for both teams from a season ago. I mentioned Blacktown hosted this fixture against St George City last season. Drop of 7 points from their effort back in 2024 to finish in 5th position. Campbell drifting in field with the ball. So he just ran into a dead end. Challenge from Maniti made sure Rockdale couldn't get out in transition. As for Rockdale, mentioned the drop-off, 17 points worse off, although last year's 72 was a record tally in the club's history. Extended 30-game season, yes, but to maintain the form they did over the course of the year was quite terrific. It would have won the league. It's actually the highest points tally we've had in the 3 seasons since going back to 30 games. Constable. Rudasevsky. Can he break the drought? He's looking to slip in Orgler. It's well read by Yej, who got back in a defensive position. Not sure that's exactly where Mark Crittenden would want him, but all hands on deck for the moment. Chalakian belts it across. Berry blocks. Ben, that is. And it's a corner for Rockdale Illinden. So another hush falls over the Illinden Sports Centre in anticipation. Look dangerous from these corner kicks so far tonight. I feel it's only a matter of time if Chalakian can keep his deliveries right. It's a good jump from Nick O'Brien. There's a couple of bodies down in the box. The first was a Blacktown defender, Lockie Campbell, suggesting he was caught by Moody Najar. Just hit the deck, didn't he, Lockie Campbell? Najar backing into him, caught him with an arm. He's one of the senior figures, this Rockdale team. He's 24 years of age in 2022 when he was a grand final goal scorer. Started in the position he is tonight after playing the entirety of the year alongside Daniel Collins and Grant Lynch in the heart of defence. It's really where his reputation for getting on the end of set pieces came from. He's had a wonderful output in terms of goals again for a defender this year. 5 goals for him across the season. Jacob Kresnar's chipped in with 4 of his own in the left wing back spot as well. Attacking weapons as much as they are responsible for their opposing wingers. Let's trying to play provider. Catching practice for Soros. They'll have been more patient with the football tonight, particularly since going ahead. Haven't been rushed, actually overplayed in their own half a few times. It's just that might have been what happened there. Giorgio Speranza just knocking it in to a Blacktown midfielder. Spirit FC and Apia Leichhardt are the two waiting in the preliminary finals. Marconi win tonight. Winner of this game will take on Spirit at Christie Park. If they lose to Sydney United, as Apia did last year in the elimination final, then it'll be a trip to Lambert Park to take on Marconi, to take on Apia. As Elliott runs away from Nolan, and the youngster is cautioned. The first yellow card referee Logan Jones has had to give out tonight. was a player to go in the book. I'm sure Mark Crittenden wouldn't be too worried about it being his young striker. Plenty of cover for him. Should Elliott escape his grasp again? All over the football. Set piece has really been the defining figure of the match so far in terms of significant chances. Lynch gets up to clear that one. Again, Allglass delivery just a little off the mark as Chalakian's has been a couple of times from the corners. Danzo. Lovely ball for Chalakian into that corridor, and Caden Henderson with a big double save. The second time he's done so with his legs. Still the danger not quite clear for Blacktown. Constable, always swerving wide. Well, he's been waiting for his moment in the sun, Caden Henderson. He's had a lot of work to get through over the course of the season. A defence that has not always been the biggest help in front of him. Alec Rasevsky hit the frame of the goal twice a couple of weeks ago against Sydney Olympic as Rockdale chased that game. They did manage to get an equaliser through James Nikolovsky, but the wait goes on, even for the great ones. When you're out of luck, sometimes whatever you do, it just seems the ball won't find its way into the back of the net. That was as pure a strike as Danzo's for the goal. Allglass getting tangled up with Maniti. Referee says advantage down the right. It's the one that wants to be in the middle waiting for those crosses then providing them. So you can see that with the outcome. Braden Sorge and Blake Rashuta have been able to deal with everything fairly tidily. Some of the Blacktown players that are gathered behind the technical areas here at the Illinden Sports Centre, wondering quite how there wasn't a booking forthcoming for Allglass' challenge on Maniti. It's one of the more mild-mannered midfielders in the competition, it must be said, the Filipino international. Speaking of players who haven't had much starting football this year, this is just his 5th selection in a Mark Crittenden starting side all year. Nice work from Chalakian to keep that ball in play. So this is quite a bit of Najjar. Henderson had front spot in the foot race. Now Nolan goes up against Elliott. It's another one who came into first grade as a youngster. A couple of years ago with Manly United, was quickly snapped up by Rockdale, given the impressive performances he was putting in. The mainstay of the back line for the last 2 years now. Barry almost got stuck between the midriffs of he and Chalakian. Maniti's passes out to play, throws his hands up in frustration. Just under 10 minutes to go in the first half here at the Illinden Sports Centre. Isaac Danzo's goal in the 6th minute got the party started here, and it's the lead Rockdale are still sitting on. Best chance of the match for Blacktown came about 15 minutes later when Maxim Yesh fired into Nick Soros from close range, but that's the only save of note the Rockdale goalkeepers had to make to this point. Caden Henderson down the other end has been rather busier. Oh, and Urasevsky and Nick O'Brien are having quite a set too. That really looked to be sparked by next to nothing. If my eyesight was correct, O'Brien looked to be running back to his position, and Urasevsky was none at all impressed with the challenge. And now it's spilling over right in front of the supporters. Players would be best advised to get away from there. This is a game that's just been floating along. A flashpoint really coming from next to nothing. There have been a couple of bigger challenges going in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but nothing that suggested that was coming. Goodness me. And Nick O'Brien wasn't backing down. And so there's a conversation to be had between Logan Jones and his assistant on the far side, Aranath Gobanath. What exactly was seen? Grant Lynch is deep in conversation with his old foe, Urasevsky. Not quite sure what the Illinden captain had taken exception to. I only think it was something in the follow-through. The Illinden skipper wasn't about to let Nick O'Brien go without a very firm word. And so a yellow card goes Risciuto's way. I think he was first on the scene of those not involved in the initial back and forth. Ruben Awaratife has been booked as well. Logan Jones is asking for the players to move away now. Urasevsky's smartly stayed away from the scene of the crime since it all began. In conversation with Logan Jones. I think he's going to walk away without a booking, is he? So the 2 yellow cards go to Risciuto and Awaratife, if I've seen that correctly. O'Brien and Urasevsky have gone off scot-free. Well, didn't that just get everything started? Campbell has a big go at Orglar. And we know he's got a bit of fire in his belly as well. Biaraki, and suddenly it's 2 flashpoints in a matter of moments. Basically in 2 plays. Credit to the referees getting right into the centre of it to try and clear it all up. But I think there's going to be more discipline handed out here. I'd be very surprised if Lachlan Campbell escapes a booking here. Has tried to keep his cards in his pocket, the referee. But again, Campbell is walking away without a yellow, as is Ali Orglar by the looks of things. A Rockdale free kick, or now he's calling over Ali Orglar. So it's the retaliation that Logan Jones has not been too keen on. The initial stuff he's been happy to let run. Orglar and Urasevsky both in for this conversation. And it's not a booking, just a talking to. And the players to sort it out themselves. They might do that if they are able to score from the set piece. Kinchalaki's delivery just falling a little short. Fairly easy clearance for Yesh. And Hunter Elliott misjudges the pass back out to his number 10. Well, everyone's walked away unscathed, but certainly that wasn't a moment that'll be forgotten quickly. Well, the committee, who saw it all right in front of them, making their thoughts known. Could have all got rather nasty. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. We need to use the challenge on in the centre of the field from Orglar. Seemed to sort of set that all off. It was a couple of minutes before the initial real flashpoint. But I do wonder if there was a bit of get-even between Nick O'Brien and Urasevsky. Blacktown trying to get themselves back in the game in terms of the football that's happening here at the Illinden Sports Centre. Blake Risciuto hoists the ball clear. Kresnar taking his time over this one.
Only ball boys and officials on the field. Can we have the children off at the southern end? Thank you.
Blacktown seemed to have been buoyed by all that, and Kresnar's into the area. Took a little deflection, fell for Nolan. Struck it into Najjar. I think he was trying to avoid it rather than get in the way, because if he'd been able to, it would have trickled behind harmlessly for a goal kick. That's not been the case. Corner ball. Rockdale have had a slate of these set-piece opportunities. Now it's Blacktown's turn to try and make something from this. Athletic piece of goalkeeping from Soros. Got there just in front of Aurora Tife as well, who looked untracked. And now his team could go in transition. Chalakian. And Orglar had just stepped off sides. Nick O'Brien marshalling the line well. There's a problem that Blacktown had early in the season. They seem to be getting caught out by the direct ball. Most evidence in the thumping they took from Sydney FC at London Stadium earlier in the season. They seem to have tidied it up somewhat since then, but still a feeling from Illinden that they can get at them that way. And they win the ball and go in transition quickly. Elliott did very well to get right over the top of the much taller Aurora Tife, and they're still having a little back and forth. Chalakian flies in on Kresnar, caught the ball cleanly. Well, the physicality of this game has just ramped up a notch since that little fracas, and Ben Berry with a high arm, but shoulder-to-shoulder contact, according to the referee. Interchanges passes with brother Adam. And now Campbell down the right. Slipping it for Yej, who got the block on Surge's clearance, but unfortunately for him, trickled behind for a goal kick. Yeah, I have to think there'll be a little bit of added time here, because there's been a few incidents that have just slowed the unfolding of this first half. At least the two coming together between first Nick O'Brien and Alec Rusevski. And Lachlan Campbell and Ali Orglar. This is not one of the traditional rivalries in New South Wales football, but the big occasion brings out a certain hunger in these competitive players. 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half, says fourth official Hayden Langholtz. Kresnar again, he's been their creative outlet down the left, and the ball in is dangerous, headed clear by Orglar. He's not keen to give up on the lost cause. Nick O'Brien for Lynch. Blacktown would love an equaliser before the break. Hangs that high in the sky. Campbell competitive, but Soros always favourite. Signing after the departure of Harrison Devonish-Mears to Sydney FC. The A-League Meds. He's had a hold on that number 1 jersey. There's been a bit of rotation about the keepers replacing him while he's been out of action, but when he's available, he's in. I'm very glad to see him back in the team last weekend against Sydney FC. Rusevski opting not to go long with this throw. Happy to get it back off with his less favoured right. Tanzo, he couldn't again. Well, he gave it a go. That's a little trickier in the half volley. You've got to put a bit more pace on it yourself. It's that lobbing action, trying to get it to dip down under Henderson's crossbar. Not quite able to measure it as well as he did in the 6th minute to open the scoring. Tife came from a mile away to make a play at that ball in the air. Wiley Nolan being encouraged to press by Mark Crittenden, and got a toe to the ball but couldn't keep it in. It's been a humdinger of a first half, really has. Two teams right at the races. Rockdale starting the favourites, bedding down that favouritism with an early goal. had to survive a couple of good periods from Blacktown City, but it's only really been the one clear chance after about 20 minutes. Been few and far between since then for both teams. A couple of saves made by Henderson around the half-hour mark. Najar using an arm to control. Took a while to come to that decision, but good for you. Just wanted to make sure he was knowing exactly what he'd seen. And with this being probably the last attack of the first half, going to take his time and get all these players forward into the opposing penalty area. Rockdale have tried to keep their line set fairly high from situations like that this season. Do so again, right on the edge of the box. Benitez's ball curls over the top. Away by Rashuta. Recycled by Adam Berry. Kresnat. Not his tidiest work of the first half. He's probably been Blacktown's brightest as they've chased this game, but they have been doing exactly that because Isaac Danzo, with one of the strikes of the season to open the scoring after 6 minutes. A gorgeous half volley that nestled right in the top corner. There's a reply from Blacktown City, who managed to wrestle their way back into the match, and Maxim Yej probably provided the crescendo to that when he forced a sharp save from Nick Soros at his near post. Rockdale went down the other end, had a couple of chances themselves. A couple of little fracas in front of the supporters on the far side. It was action-packed, it was entertaining, and we've still got 45 minutes plus extra time and penalties if we need them tonight to come from the Illinden Sports Centre. But at half-time, it's Rockdale Illinden 1, Blacktown City 0. Welcome back to the Illinden Sports Centre. The second half of the elimination final about to get underway between Rockdale and Blacktown. The goal separating them at the break coming from Isaac Dunzo's stunning volley after just 5 minutes. Blacktown responded with a good period of their own, but Rockdale had managed to wrestle back the momentum by the break. Both goalkeepers have been busy, but haven't been able to find our second goal. I feel it will be all important when it comes. Reminder, if we are level after 90 minutes tonight, it's knockout football. Half an hour's extra time and penalty kicks should they be required. Rockdale will be hoping it doesn't go that far. Blacktown City hoping they can turn the tide inside the 45 minutes with a potential preliminary final as soon as Sunday. Had a false start to start the first half. Looks like we're getting one to start the second as well, and we are underway. The preserve of Blacktown last year from their restarts. This one's worked out all right with Ruben Oratife getting on the end of it before Hunter Elliott blasts it into the supporters on the far side. I think a fairly healthy crowd that have got in, close to 1,000 here at the Illinden Sports Centre. A very rough count. With the eyes of this commentator, Alex Molchanoff along with you for the second half of the elimination final. And Rockdale are trying to start the second half just as they began the first, which was on the front foot. Rusevski giving them a good chance of doing that. His cross blocked before it reached Orglar, but an early set-piece opportunity for the hosts. Weren't part of this fixture a year ago, having finished top as premiers, looking to secure silverware for the second season straight. Going to have to get through a second knockout tie in the grand final if that's to be the case. Going about it the right way over the first 3/4 of an hour. Dangerous ball towards Risciuto. Oratife back there, lending a hand defensively from the set piece. Blacktown have got numbers if they could have controlled that. Got the heads in hands from the injured contingent. Travis Major, Mitch Marlier, Jack O'Brien standing behind the benches. And part of the appeals process as Logan Jones blows for a free kick for the foul committed on Blake Risciuto. Got a bit of a fire and brimstone towards the end of the first half, and Campbell was part of that. Hefty challenge on Ali Orglar after Alec Rusevski and Nick O'Brien had an exchange of pleasantries, we'll put it that way. Both escaped bookings. Even Oratife and Blake Risciuto weren't so lucky after running from a fair way to get involved. I'd like to be involved here. Risciuto's there again, climbed above Henderson. The ball too high for him to keep on target. The delivery from Chalaki, a vast improvement from what he was producing in the first half. Right onto the head. The man who knows how to get on the end of those set-piece opportunities is the late goal merchant. Blake Risciuto, who was very close to nodding one home. There's some concerns for the well-being of a couple of Blacktown players who are down after all of that. Lockie Campbell, who conceded the free kick. Henderson has made his way back to his feet pretty well, but still feeling the effects. He's limping back into his goal to get a drink of water. Blacktown physio is down there with number 4. They don't want to lose him. Well, he's flying everywhere in the Rockdale penalty area early in this second half. Straightforward defensive substitution would be Jackson Bandiera, who's there tonight for Mark Crittenden, Keanu Moore, Danny Choi, Marty Fernandez, Sebastian Hayward. They're all players who can make a difference if they're called upon. For Rockdale, should they need them. James Nikolovsky came off the bench to get a late equaliser against Sydney Olympic a couple of weeks ago. Jerry Skatardis, the mid-season signing from Sutherland. Ollie Pufflet, the switch from Sydney Olympic in the off-season, and Paul Kalamvokis there if required. Everybody back to their feet and in good order. So both at their full complement. referee allowing Campbell straight back on, which I think was common sense, given the fact it was a fall to the head knock in there. Wasn't the best play from Lynch initially. Might have won the throw though. No. Decision goes Rockdale's way, to the delight of the supporters. Also to the travelling Blacktown contingent, who've stationed themselves over in the corner opposite the committee. Crunching into the back of Yesh, and then just not quite leaving him alone after he turned onto the ground. So once again, the players will come together. Shooter forwards. The copter rub in the face for his troubles. Seen all of that before, but this elimination final is just getting a little nasty either side of half-time. Blacktown City look as though they're close to coming to the bench. In fact, they're going to go there straight away. Lockie Campbell's not going to be able to continue. And it's not Bandiera, it's Sebastian Hayward's cry of frustration. A player who loves these big games. Lockie Campbell has a great record in terms of scoring goals in them as well. He's the first removed from battle. Hoping it's not the end of his season. Fresno, who was an ever-present threat down the left, he's crossed this time, just lacked a bit of conviction. Perhaps not able to set himself. So he's had quite a bit of work like that to do over the first. Yes, just getting his own back with that challenge.
Substitution for Blacktown, the 50th minute. Number 4, Rockdale Campbell, making
Bringing out a bit of frustration. There's been a couple of get-evens from both sets of players. Still had just those couple of bookings in the first half to Rishito and Oro Tife. Will Rockdale be able to break out of this grapple that the Blacktown City side have got them in at the moment? So that's giving them a route back into this game. Constable, gorgeous back heel. Ian Danzo, the double pivot for Rockdale in midfield this evening. Mentioned off to the top of the broadcast, Rockdale searching for their first win in 8 games. It's been 2 months without one, 6 straight draws heading into this game. Team that have picked up more points from losing positions this season than any other in the competition. Knockout tie these two have played at the Illinden Sports Centre. As Danzo comes into that one in the half volley, catching it not cleanly. To finish my point there, first knockout tie that's been played between these two since a Waratah Cup fixture back in 2018. Rockdale won out 3-2 winners that night. Constable. Chalaki and be the difference maker. Didn't quite get the link up going between he and Urasevsky. Golden Boot winner again over the course of the regular season. That's the 3rd straight year title. Slightly lower return than his past 2 efforts, just the 22 goals this season. Still a remarkable record, especially considering he hasn't scored in the last 8 rounds of the season. He built that margin up in the opening 20. He had 22 in 22 at one stage. It's been a measure of consistency from a goal-scoring perspective in this competition, the standout in that statistic, the most important of them. Constable, right up there in a few of the passing metrics over the course of the season. Ian Elliott working it out so that Rockdale can win an attacking throw. They've been reluctant to go the long option tonight, trying to try and work their way through this Blacktown defence. Vesna holding out Chalakian. Wriggle his way free as he's so often able to. Credit to Blacktown, who've stayed right in the fight, engaged in the game even after copping that early goal. I hope it's not the difference. Didn't look quite as up for it in the early stages as their opposition. That's not been the case the rest of the way. Fernandez and Choi both being readied. Feel they'll have a part to play in this game before its end. Rockdale wanted the free kick. Have to settle for the throw. Hear the cry of handball from the far side all the way over from our broadcast position. Now Urasevsky does go that long throw. Lynch in the way. Berry with a heavy touch. Urasevsky trying to buy the free kick. It was never coming. Big weekend of football coming your way on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. We've got the two men's preliminary finals that we mentioned. Those two teams looking to be part of that. Marconi leading by a goal to nil at Sydney United, against Sydney United rather, at Marconi Stadium. That would leave the winner of this game playing Spirit FC if that result holds at Christie Park. What will likely be the early kick-off because of the fact the two women's semi-finals taking place over the weekend had a classic, almost pre-grand final battle for the premiership between the Bulls Academy and Apia Leichhardt over the weekend. Set down for Saturday at 6 o'clock. The Bulls Academy taking on Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And well to make the finals in their first year in the competition. Apia Leichhardt taking on UNSW at Lambert Park on Sunday at 1:30. Was looking to return that ball to Orgler. Didn't quite make his mark. Down the bottom, the relegation race is being a point of focus in this competition. Mount Druitt losing their position after coming up last year, heading straight back down to League One. The promotion relegation playoff taking place over the weekend, the first leg. Urasevsky just not timing his run, except a moment too soon. So the SD Raiders hosting the Central Coast Mariners on Saturday at 5 o'clock at Ernie Smith Reserve. In the League One, League Two edition of that playoff. Familiar name, Tonnerig White Eagles. Looking to retain their spot in League One next season. Travelling to Prospect. There's a second substitution for Mark Crittenden. Young Riley Nolan's first taste of finals football is over. Experience and technical prowess of Danny Choi has joined us with just over an hour to play. It's been a double substitution from Crittenden as well. Almost getting in behind her, coming together with Ben Barry. Caden Henderson, grateful to see the ball land in his hands. And Awaratifi's been replaced by this man, Marty Fernandez, who's got magic in his boots on his day. He's trying to provide it in his first touch. Brought to a screeching halt by Isaac Dunza. Oh, a step over from Chalaki, and that wasn't too bad either. Orgler. Whip it in first opportunity he got. Couldn't find Urasevsky on the opposite side of the penalty area. Ben Berry's been stretching and diving across this artificial surface. Feel that in the morning. It has been just that moment too late. His desire in terms of the press has been so impressive. He's actually moved into a central role. So that in a moment, because Blacktown are building an attack. Shito without challenge clears, only to the edge of the box where Adam Berry's waiting. Kresnar, without too many forward options, forced to go backward. Danny Nikas right at the edge of his technical area for the first time tonight, barking instructions at his defence. Can he see some holes opening up? First pass from Haywoods, but he managed to win it back. And feed Fernandez with the help of Choi. Rashuto's seen it all before. Gives that little turn away from his defender, doesn't he, Urasevsky? Wasn't the tidiest, but it's ended with Henderson having to clear the ball rather ungainly in manner, just over the near touchline. Still looking a little bit frantic from both teams at the moment. They seem to have settled after an initial period of madness after the break. Half an hour for Blacktown City to find an equaliser, maybe even a winner. Have to find a way to threaten Nick Soros' goal more consistently than they've been able to do so far tonight. Constable's clever feet couldn't keep that in play. His header is misplaced, which will allow Rockdale on the front foot again. Good piece of defending from Ben Berry. Been good tonight. Very smart piece of defending from Hunter Elliott. Had to judge that to perfection because the arm was potentially making impact. He just stooped nicely. Made sure that didn't happen and he was able to control. Look calmer defensively than I've seen them all year tonight, Rockdale. Just don't look panicked by anything. I've been missing troops back there at different times across the season. George Esperanza having a timeout with ill fitness. Hunter Elliott, we mentioned, he's had the 2 suspensions through red cards this year. Sorge and Rashuto were a makeshift pairing as Henderson makes a real mess of that. Mudin Hajar is just wondering when he's going to be rewarded. He's been in close attendance for so many of those little moments tonight. He must feel he's due. But a sharp save made from one of his close range strikes by Henderson in the first half. One of 2 he made with his legs, the Blacktown City goalkeeper. Call him a gloveman, but he hasn't really used those in his shot stopping tonight. His feet let him down a little there. Hate for this to be the moment that kills it off. Last ball had too much on it for anyone in any colour. Choi and Fernandez joining the action just shy of the hour mark. I feel that's Mark Crinton's one real big roll of the dice tonight. Started thinking perhaps Aurora Tife's physicality and Nolan's running power could pry apart Rockdale's defence early. That hasn't proven the case. So a change in tack. Counting Moore and Jackson Bandiera still in reserve should they be required. Might be all hands on deck if Rockdale can get a second here. Danzo is misjudging his weighted pass, which is not something you say too often. Right foot, which is so cultured, has been used more as a battering ram tonight to good effect. In 6 minutes, still the only one that separates these two. Rusevsky wanted the ball earlier. Danzo won it back anyway. Chalakian. Piece of defending from Hayward initially, and Berry up in the air, which is where he thrives. So what we saw very early in the game where Rockdale were just pegging Blacktown in their own half for long periods. The All Blacks contributions over the last 15 minutes, not quite to the quality that we know he's capable of. It's a standout in the first half. Different stages. Just on a different pace to Giorgio Speranza, who was overlapping him that time. Jacob Kressner, lovely little 1-2 with Marty Fernandez. Is this the moment for Blacktown? Sliding challenge from Hunter Elliott. Just caught plenty of the ball. Kressner might have collected the fence. Such was the pace with which he was moving. When he's in the corner, but he's come off worse for wear. Thankfully back to his feet. He's grown in his performances over the course of the year. He's buoyed by the goal on the opening day. Jacob Kressner lost his spot for a couple of weeks to Jackson Bandieras, won it back. Berry's up. The header is over. But there's just a few more orders and instructions coming from inside the Rockdale Illinden technical area. They're sensing perhaps a momentum shift in this game with the introduction of Marty Fernandez. He's posing more of a threat in between the lines. Just what Blacktown's attackers demanded tonight. They've got to stay watchful down the other end. Orglar can produce magic from moments like this, and he gets a shot away, crashes into the side netting. They're being put under a bit more pressure defensively, but still looking as threatening as ever in attack. Only outscored by Apia Leichhardt over the 2024 season. They haven't been quite as clinical in front of goal this year. Doesn't matter come finals time, you just need that goal to get you over the line into the winner's circle. Adam Berry. Fernandez is just floating from one end to the other and trying to play provider here. Danzo struck his chest rather than his arm. Berry retrieves. Hayward sets to cross. There's an arm out from Ali Orglar. Yes, the flag from Alessandro Lana. The assistant on the near side has drawn the whistle. A couple of moments like that where Ali Orglar tracking back has just got himself caught the wrong sides. You can hear the coaching staff just trying to keep him focused. Logan Jones just making sure the ball is as wide as it needed to be on this near side. 4 white shirts gathered in the area, several more around the edge of the box. Berry will go towards Ben Berry. Choi. Able to clear fairly easily, and the jars the release. Smart piece of defending from Nick O'Brien. Have to be precise defensively because he's the last man back. Any error would have led to Blacktown disaster. Nim show his full range of passing this evening. It's an opportunity too there. Final quarter of the game, it's flown by, despite just the solitary goal. Half time between Marconi and Sydney United. Scoreline still sitting 1-0 the Stallions' favour. Maniti. Ripped off him by Danzo, who he tugs to the turf. Rockdale just trying to secure the momentum for the final 20 minutes or so. sit on this lead that they've secured themselves. It will be a long 20 minutes for their support. They've ridden the highs and lows with them this season. The first win in 2 months couldn't have been better timed. Their last was against Blacktown back in round 22. Trying to repeat the trick here. Fernandez into Elliott's mid-drift despite the cries for handball. Blacktown's got numbers, but Maxim Yesh choosing just to check it. Still could develop. Choi taking Ali Oglar out of the contest. Haywood picks up the football. Berry trying to play provider. Constable turning away. And the deflection off him meant that Soros could play him before it went behind. They keep the tempo up, Rockdale. They're controlled through chaos. It's so often their way. Kurisevsky took a big swing at that, but the referee says throwing Blacktown City, and now our goal scorer tonight is down on the turf. Isaac Danzo has a shake of the head. Hopefully not a suggestion he won't be able to continue. Rockdale yet to make a substitution tonight. Jerry Skatadis would be the obvious replacement. If Rockdale are looking to go like for like. I said to you in the first half, the improved defensive records from Rockdale over this run of winless games. They've kept 3 clean sheets over the course of the run. With Sorge and Rashuto, the centre-half pairing on each occasion. Soros hasn't always been behind them, but he's enjoying the fruits of their labour this evening. He can record a clean sheet. Danzo is back with us, so we can see out the 90 minutes. Certainly from a Rockdale perspective, they'll be hoping that's the case. Rashuto in no rush, why would he be? Locking off to Speranza. Oh, and a little from Nick O'Brien, which has allowed Ali Oglar in. Goes down under the challenge from Grant Lynch. And the Blacktown skipper will go into the referee's notebook. Ali Oglar takes the congratulations from his teammates because he's the only Rockdale player that's been booked tonight, but it was his endeavour and his industry which has won Rockdale this very strong attacking position. Quite remarkable. That's just Lynch's 3rd yellow card of the season for a central defender. That's a sterling disciplinary record. Well, you can hear the thoughts of some of the juniors who've gathered down below us. I think Brenda Chalakian's got the same idea. Pekka Maniti's suggesting that the wall is a bit too far back. Not sure if each of his steps lends itself to a whole metre. 4 in the wall for Caden Henderson. Plenty to do in the first half. Hasn't really been tested in the second. I think he'll be about to be. Chalakian! Henderson beats it away. Gorgeous dip on that football. So much spin on it as Choi brings down Oglar. Blacktown stuck in their own half again. Just haven't had the quality quite to go with their opponents tonight. Injuries to Major and Jack O'Brien really put a halt on their season. You add Mitch Malia to that. He takes out their 3 most important attacking weapons. Could be what cost them on the final day. This historically high-scoring fixture has not quite delivered that to us this evening. Najjar trying to change that. Completely mishit his volley. Rockdale are going to be careful. They're not open at the back. It's a gorgeous bit of distribution from Henderson, and Chalakian flies into Choi. He's keen not to let him go any further. Somehow the ball stayed in. You can see why he's a fan favourite here. Just as he was in his career, Brendan Chalakian. It's the last roll of the dice for Blacktown City. Keanu Moore. Such a goal-scoring threat in the Northern New South Wales NPL. He's teammates of Seth Clark and Ryan Feuds of Sydney Olympic for a time. Made it all the way to the grand final last season. Hasn't quite been as ever-present for Mark Crittenden this season, but it's been a key part off the bench. End of the night for Jacob Kresnar, who provided so much attacking impetus for Blacktown in the first half. Did get through a lot of work though. It's as though Blacktown have gone to 4 at the back as they chase this game. Nothing to lose now, particularly with just that solitary goal between they and their opponents. Just one more goal to send us to extra time. They're still looking open enough in moments, but when they're set like this, they have looked doggedly difficult to break down. Hayward slips away from Allglatt, almost literally. It's the whistle. Berry with the wits and smarts to play Blacktown out of those tight areas. It's his greatest asset. Fernandez. Rockdale's coaching staff, their focus has very much turned to defence. Maniti. Here's Ben Berry. Hayward. Berry's continued his run forwards. Force chances through sheer weight of numbers. Got to be careful they don't leave themselves open down the other end. I think O'Brien's been very watchful defensively this evening. Sefsky had hold of Nick O'Brien's shirt, hence the lack of appeal, even after a late-ish whistle. Choi just can't sort his feet out, and Chalakian took it off him like a thief in the night. Couldn't see him coming. Still he's battling for it. This time he loses out, and there were 1 or 2 fouls in that little sequence. Prefers Chalakian's block off of Choi. And so now Blacktown will get their opportunity from a set piece. You see what Choi and Fernandez have added since coming on. Such good control in those tight areas. Breaking down a set defense requires players like them. So Soros will have to be watchful. 2 in his wall. Sefsky and Chalakian, funnily enough. And it's 4 in a line attacking the cross from Blacktown. 2 over the ball. And Yesh puts his cross too close to Soros. And now Rockdale could be away in transition. Chalakian. Well, he went the most direct of all options from inside the centre circle. That was audacious to say the least. Not to say he doesn't have it in his locker. Balance and under pressure. Just a couple of feet being left in by players in those 50-50s. It's a nice switch from Adam Berry. Yesh, who's swapped out to this near flank, and again he's dragged to the turf by Speranza. Different culprits each time, but Rockdale getting stuck the wrong side of the players they're marking a little too often for their coaching staff's liking at the moment. And now they're readying a change. Won't be until after this set piece, you can be sure of that. Choi almost right on the touchline. It was in a dangerous area. So much whip on it that might have curled right in had it been allowed to travel that far. Constable. Well, this is the knife's edge this game is on now. Blacktown building pressure through possession and set pieces. Rockdale still feeling they're dangerous in transition. Still throwing numbers forward in that situation, looking to kill the game off. It is so tense, so tight. Can't take your eyes off it. Maniti, everything on the line. Seasons to play for both these two sides. Rockdale want to place back in the grand final. Nearly the first step on the journey. Orglar, Haywood timed the challenge well. And buried to Yej. It's popped up on the left now. Elliott, wrangle with him, but the decision goes against Maxim Yej, who's talked himself into a booking. Much to the liking of the home fans. It's the sort of desire that sent him take his place in this zone, but Maxim Yej. He's seen plenty of the ball in these late stages. Had to work his way into the starting side after signing from Bonnyrigg in the off-season. One of the first names on the Britain late in the year. And a substitution for Rockdale Illinden. Brendan Chalakian after another typically superb performance. Chris McStay's ball-playing ability we'll see out the night. Just under 10 minutes to play. Couldn't have written that up any better. Let's see if Blacktown could give us a dramatic finish. Maxim Yej has become public enemy number one here at Illinden. In firmly. Has left Hunter Elliott in a heap on the ground. Free kick suffice, says the referee, but Elliott has stayed down. Well, he moved. Hoping is not an indication of anything too serious. Probably the first challenge that Keanu Moore's got into since coming on. Committee have not had a whole lot to sing about over the last 6 or 8 weeks. Full of voice this evening. To their credit, they've stayed right behind the team, travelling to support them each and every week. And the biggest cheer of the night if they can see it out. The final whistle goes in 10 or 15 minutes. Stay nods it down. Be even louder if they can get a second, although the flag was up against Najar on the far side. In current fixture, Marconi still leading Sydney United by a goal to nil. 10 minutes into the second half. Reminder, you'll be able to find that game on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel as well. We'll flip over after full time here. I wouldn't suggest it. Blacktown have still shown enough that they could yet get an equaliser. Send us to an extra 30 minutes. Milosevski still hunting down opportunity. Not able to make something of that. Way by Ben Berry. Esperanza will be happy to watch it out. Willing to eat any more time off the clock just yet, though. And Orglar's wriggled away from Haywood's attention. Now being held by Ben Berry. Still he has the ball at his feet. Lovely ball in field for McStay. This should be it for Rockdale. It's Najar! Right into the hands of Henderson. The moment to kill the game off passes. For the moment anyway. Najar has had a good evening without reward. On a personal level anyway. Sent in the cross for the opening goal, but won't be credited with the assist. That came from Alec Grosevski's knockdown for Isaac Danzo. Constable. He and Danzo have been so brilliant tonight. They have controlled the centre of the park for the hosts. It's given them control of the match as a whole as a result. Not to mention Danzo's goal, which is still the only one of the match. Blacktown trying to change that. Risciuto has stayed down in midfield, so they're short a defender here, Rockdale. And here's a chance for Adam Berry. Speranza with a crucial block. With Risciuto still stuck up the field, is he going to be able to see out the 90 minutes? Perhaps not. Rockdale calling for the substitution initially. Now Lachlan Constable's gone down, suggesting cramp. Just paused Blacktown's momentum, and now Risciuto's gone down as well, suggesting he's got a bit of muscle soreness as well. Blacktown cook anything up from the throw. Hayward's taking his time, but he's not really got too many options. Just lobs it up, trying to get to the head of Lynch. Risciuto climbs above him, and Speranza clears. Berry and Uraszewski were together a long time. Steelers crying for the ball more centrally. Uraszewski couldn't quite get there in time to deliver it to him. Can Choi do something down the other end? Fernandez. Still prompting and probing Blacktown. Wardler doing the clearing. McStay as the release. Uraszewski stayed high. So we'd do anything different. It's a gorgeous ball for Chris McStay to kill it off. Heroic defending from Mark Simiesh. Perfectly timed challenge. Ball coming at an awkward height for Chris McStay. He's ended up quite a heap. Right on the edge of Caden Henderson's 6-yard box. The trip to Christie Park beckons. Chance at redemption for Rockdale, who were beaten there 6-3 late in the season. It started this losing run. Well, this run without a win, I should say. Fresh legs to see out the match coming from the hosts, Jerry Skatardis, James Nikolovsky, Ollie Pufflet, who added a third to their 2-1 lead in the last meeting between these two. His only goal of the season so far. Blacktown really have put in a solid performance without producing the spectacular that's been required to get themselves over the line in the second half. Rockdale have had to be watchful, but it's all looked fairly comfortable. Fernandez and Choi made an impact immediately after being introduced, but gone out of the game somewhat. Nick O'Brien, Marshall Durasevsky well over the course of the night. Cold comfort for him if the scoreline stays at 1-0. Yej, full of running and desire, chopped down by Elliott. Together they come again. Yej has already been booked, so that's why Lynch is trying to drag him away. Rockdale were keen to draw him into a fight. Make this change at a defensive set piece. That would be against the grain, I think it's fair to say. So they'll just wait on it. Mark Crittenden's having quite the words. And subs look as though they are going to be made now. Logan Jones is holding his hand up to his watch. I think Rockdale are saying they're not going to make the changes now. So on we go. Nick O'Brien allowed to deliver. Ben Berry's the target at the back post. There's no one in white central for him. Hoists it clear. O'Brien gets a second bite of the cherry, plays it towards no one in particular. And now Rockdale will make their changes to slow the tempo further. Ali Orgler without reward. He was so close in the second half. Won't mind because you get another opportunity. He's their second top scorer this year. He's had half the return of Alec Urasevsky, which from a wide position has been quite spectacular in his first season with the club. Lucky Constable's night is over as well. There's Gotardis. Brought on, another with A-League experience. Rolly Pufflet for Moody Najjar, the final of the trio of changes. We are into the 90th minute.
Moody Najjar. Number 11, Lachlan Constable.
Just stoppage time for Rockdale to see out. And they are through to a second consecutive preliminary final. Six to be added on at the end of this game. So they've got a fair bit of time still to get themselves back in at Blacktown and break the hearts of the Rockdale supporters. Haywood had to stretch to get there. All he could do was knot it down for Speranza. A mistake and run it clear again. Haywood battling with him for it. Blacktown wanted the free kick. Wasn't forthcoming. Haywood's any means would do to take it off Danzo, and he got it back. Every Rockdale player behind the ball. O'Brien goes furthest forward to Lynch. There's a chance for more! You feel that was the moment. Perfectly hit ball from Nick O'Brien. Lovely weight on the header from Lynch. And Moore nods over. You'd be surprised if they get a better chance than that, Blacktown. There's again, all over Pufflet. Frustration getting the better of him there. Well, it was never going to be straightforward in the Fairfield derby. I'll give you a clue. Might be headed for extra time there. Feet from Maniti. Rolled Elliott. Beautifully timed challenge from Sorge. Just holds Blacktown up for a moment longer. Sorge up to clear again. This is a bit Sunday League from Blacktown, just rolling it forward from throw-ins. He's just taken a good few steps there. It's almost in line with the penalty area. Lynch nods on. There's a chance. Choi. Moore. And Adam Berry slices his effort well wide. To Bronx cheers in the south of Sydney. So the Rockdale defence take a deep breath again. Almost to another clean sheet. This one for Nick Soros. He hasn't had too many this year. What a time it would be to keep your discipline for 90 minutes. He got to the ball first but couldn't keep it in play. Commanding header from Rasciuto. Good strength from Pufflet. Adam Berry did well to wrap his leg around him and make contact with the football. Running Shooting power of Hayward, picked off by Nikolovsky. Very good first step since coming on. Ball forward is inconsequential. Closing in on the final minute of stoppage time. And Moore's header might be the closest Blacktown come. Couple of whistles starting to come from the far side. Will it be a fourth straight knockout victory over Blacktown City? They've had their number, and Ollie Pufflet is looking to kill off a game against Blacktown City again. He's through on goal. Heroic stuff from Nick O'Brien. You do wonder whether it'll be in vain, but he has been outstanding this evening. Adam Berry can't hold on to the football. McStay. Pufflet was offside and knew it. Moments away. Blacktown keenly aware of that fact. So they throw numbers forwards. Henderson hoists it one last time into the night sky. Will it fall for Danny Choi? Not quite. Danzo's telling touch, just as he had in the first half. Can Urasevsky kill it off? Appeals for a back pass waved away. Urasevsky's all over Henderson. Free kick goes Blacktown's way. Urasevsky's booked. And Logan Jones has to stop things to give a booking to Rockdale's skipper. And Nick O'Brien's going to go into a book for something he said amongst all of that. Two notes for the match reporters, that's about all it is. Nick O'Brien's turn to hoist one forward. Moore trying to get to the full of the football. And Rockdale are through to a second straight preliminary final. The solitary goal enough. Isaac Danzo's strike will be one replayed on highlight reels for years to come because of its importance, because of its brilliance. And Rockdale from there stood firm. Their first win in 8 games comes in the biggest of the lot. So Sunday brings a preliminary final. Quite where and when, they'll have to wait on the result from Marconi. But the first step of the 3 they need to claim a historic championship has been taken at home. For Blacktown, their run ends with the grand final just over the horizon for the second straight year. One can only wonder what might have been had they had their full complement of stars, but it wasn't the case tonight, and it cost them in terms of the chances that they were able to create. So the Rockdale Illinden fans head home happy. Blacktown City back to the drawing board for 2026 as they look to wrangle their first piece of silverware since 2022's grand final. It's been a pleasure to bring you what was a tense and tight affair with a couple of flashpoints along the way. Alex Molchanov signing off from the Illinden Sports Centre for Football New South Wales. Make sure you join us on Sunday for those all-important grand final qualifiers. Rockdale will be part of one. They run out winners by 1-0.